Hello everyone and good afternoon. My name is Don Arleth and you're watching World News. A Russian strike has killed 5 people in the Ukrainian city of Kostiantynivka. Earlier this week, police evacuated the elderly from the city, which is located right on the front line. A Russian-guided bomb was used to carry out the strike. Ukraine's national police said 2 women and 3 men have been killed in the attack. 4 residential buildings were damaged in the city, which has long served Kyiv as a logistics hub. Earlier this week, police evacuated elderly residents from the city located in the Donetsk region, now under constant threat from the air. Russian drones continue to target Ukrainian towns and infrastructure. No closer to a peace deal, Kyiv is set to receive the latest NATO aid packages as European leaders continue calling on Russia's president on his tactics.
With no end to the war in sight, Russian attacks continue. Railway infrastructure was the target of the latest overnight drone strike, wounding 6 people in Ukraine's Poltava region. As Ukraine is no closer to peace, the latest NATO aid packages are set to arrive in Ukraine, including missiles for Patriot air defense systems and HIMARS launchers.
We received more than $2 billion from our partners under the prioritized Ukraine requirements list program. In October, I think we will receive extra funding. We will have in total around $3.5 to $3.6 billion. Regarding the first 2 packages, each worth $500 million, I understood you asked what those packages will include. I will not disclose all the details, but they will definitely include missiles for Patriot and HIMARS systems.
With peace talks stalled and no stop to Russian attacks and stirring tensions in the region, European leaders have called out Russian President Vladimir Putin on his tactics.
Putin has long been testing the limits with sabotage, spying and murder. Russia wants to destabilize our societies, but ladies and gentlemen, we will not allow that to happen, not externally and not internally either.
Ukrainian towns continue to be a constant target for Russian drones. Elderly residents of the Ukrainian town of Kostiantynivka have been evacuated this week, as there is still no prospect of returning to normalcy inside.
Ukraine and Poland have signed a strategic memorandum of cooperation on unmanned aerial systems. The agreement aims to strengthen the 2 allies' defense partnership and align Ukraine more closely with NATO standards. Announced on Thursday in Kyiv by Polish Defense Minister Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz and his Ukrainian counterpart Denis Shmyhal. The agreement establishes a joint working group to exchange battlefield experience, develop counter-drone measures, and advance innovative drone technologies.
Today, we agreed on specific software products that will grant our Polish colleagues access to, so that they can see in advance all Russian attacks, including those potentially aimed at our neighbors and friends. We'll expand this cooperation, sharing both our software and the information at our disposal, as well as coordinating our activities and efforts at the military and technical levels.
Thank you for allowing us to sign 3 important agreements. Prime Minister Shmyhal outlined the details, highlighting the focus on acquiring skills and capabilities in drone operation and counter-drone capacity. This cooperation involves not only the armed forces and research and scientific institutions, but also our industries.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky signed a bill establishing the office of the military ombudsman on Thursday. It had been adopted by the parliament the day before. The new law introduces additional guarantees protecting the rights of military reservists, territorial defense volunteers, members of the resistance movement, and law enforcement officers involved in Russia's war against Ukraine. The military ombudsman will be appointed by the president once every 5 years. According to the country's defense ministry, the ombudsman will be responsible for considering appeals and complaints of service members, providing primary legal assistance, conducting inspections, and investigating violations of rights of the service members and their families. Already in April of 2024, Ukraine's defense ministry announced that it would create the position to ensure soldiers had a way to report violations of their rights. Zelensky has appointed Olha Reshetolova, formerly a journalist and human rights activist, as the first military ombudsman. As Czech voters prepare to head to the polls in just a few days, former Prime Minister Andrej Babiš is making headlines with controversial campaign promise to pull the country out of the European Union's joint ammunition initiative for Ukraine. The move has sparked debate across the Czech defense sector. Our reporter Alexandra Bulenda is in Prague with more on what's at stake.
In the heart of Prague, defense spending is taking center stage during the parliamentary campaign. Former Prime Minister Andrej Babiš has pledged to withdraw Czech participation from the EU's joint ammunition initiative, a move seen by many as a sharp political turn. Now, instead of sending more shells to Ukraine, Babiš pledges that he wants those funds redirected to Czech voters and taxpayers. He argues that this time it is to help our own. Critics say that this populist pivot could undermine the Czech Republic's position within the European defense framework.
I mean, more than anything else, I believe it's a part of his rhetorics for the domestic audience. I think it's not that much aimed at the international audience, but rather as a leader of a catch-all party, he's trying to gather votes from all parts of the political spectrum, including the more extreme parts of the spectrum. And that, for him, means he has to toughen up his rhetoric. And unfortunately for all of us, that also includes talking about possibly ending the ammunition initiative. Whether or not it really happens, that stands to question.
Analysts point that this decision may have less to do with military logistics and more with campaign strategy. Positioning himself as a protector of national interests, Babiš is betting that skepticism towards EU-level military spending will rally voters. So with just weeks before the election as such, Czech defense policy is once ahead, taking center stage. And for more how this shift could reshape the country's arms industry and foreign policy change, stay tuned for World News Tonight. From Prague for TVP World, I'm Alexandra Bulenda.
U.S. President Donald Trump said on Thursday that without tariffs, the U.S. would have received only a fraction of its current investment. Speaking during his second state visit to the United Kingdom this year, Trump added that he will now focus on cutting red tape and ensuring regulation remains reasonable.
We're taking in trillions of dollars from tariffs. And they've been so incredible for our country, so incredible. We're keeping our companies happy. We're keeping them solid and sane. And they're very, very thrilled at what's happened. They can't even believe it. And we've never seen investment like this. Without the tariffs, we would have just a fraction of that. And we'll have regulation, but it'll be sane regulation. It'll be regulation that allows you to compete and do your thing, or regulations that you're able to get around and do things and you no longer have that regulation.
And that concludes this edition of World News, but do stay tuned because News in Depth is coming up next.